What is going on? Holy cow, I didn't realize that it's been like a year since I uploaded the last 82 Toyota pickup Rusty Luxy update. Well, a lot has changed, and I'm going to show you that here in this video. I'm going to try to keep it relatively short, but I'd like to be detailed at the same time. I don't know if this is going to be the last video or not, maybe second to last. This is what we got going on, guys. Got a Australian Ute bed on it. Ute, spelled U-T-E, pronounced Y-O-O-T, Ute. Ute in Australian basically means pickup, means truck, utility truck. Got a later model 65 series Hilux Snorkel on there. It does not fit right. And I mean, I know it's not for this truck, but it's not perfect. So I measured what I thought was pretty good. It's not perfect. The lines on the body don't match that well, but I was trying to get it decent. It's also not bolted down yet, but so there's this little lip on this Snorkel. It's kind of hard to describe, but there's this little lip where it curves, and I was trying to get it on the factory body line right here where the top of the fender kind of slopes down and curves. I got it decent, but the problem is the shape of the bend in the Snorkel where it goes up to the A-pillar, it doesn't quite match. It's just a little bit different shaped cab. So right now the Snorkel's kind of at an angle, and I don't really like that. I was hoping it would be level with the Hilux four-wheel drive emblem straight from Australia. Awesome. It's not perfect, but also, by the way, what I'm showing you here, this is all stock Toyota 22R carb, and it's working pretty good. So basically what I did was I took the, so on stock 82 pickup Hiluxes, you know, you have this bend in the air intake that kind of comes down, and then there's a box, which is garbage. It's sitting over there on the workbench right there. There's this box comes down, and then your air intake is through the front of your grill. So what I did was I had this thought where if I just take that, flip it upside down on the factory carburetor intake, and then this is the rubber tube, like 3 1/4 inch rubber tube that comes with the Snorkel kit. I thought it would be able to mate to this, but there's just a little bit difference in length. And then there's a bend that's going to be right here. And I'm noticing this is kind of blocking off airflow. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. Basically, what I'm going to try to do is take this piece of pipe that comes with the Snorkel, this flexible rubber hose, take it to a local hose place, see if I can get like the same stuff, but like maybe 8 or 9 inches longer, and then see if I can just make one long tube here that'll flex. You don't want it pinching off airflow, so, you know, this 22R is already gutless enough. I don't want to restrict any airflow to it, so, you know, that is kind of what it is right now. It's not a huge concern. Basically, my concern right now is just getting the Snorkel mounted to the body, because I'm actually going on a week of vacation, and my plan was to get this bed on, the cab finished, sanded down, primed, and painted. I know that's a lot, but with this, with the new bed on there, you can see the old bed in the background right there. With that new bed, it's a lot less sanding, a lot less painting. So basically, guys, I got the cab, and that's it. Cab's going to paint the bed. I'm going to leave the natural aluminum color. That bed is feather light. It weighs nothing. It's incredible. I used my chain fall right here to, sorry, I know I'm not the best at pointing. Used the chain fall to get the old bed off and the new bed on. And yeah, it's coming along. I have some stuff. We're putting in some cabinets in a utility room, so I have to get all this stuff out this week, and then finish removing this stock pinstripe right here, which was garbage anyway. And then I'm hoping to get it prepped, primed, and painted. This bed's pretty cool, guys. It's and I'll give you a much more of a better walk around on it when I get it outside. It's not mounted to the frame yet. Literally, like 2 hours ago, I set it on there with the chain fall. So I need to, it came off of a 96 Tacoma, local to me. So there's some mounts down here that I have to relocate and move and drill some more holes in the this ladder frame right here. And it'll be good to go. It came with LED taillights, which is really cool. And I just got to splice that into the factory harness somehow. But this thing is awesome. Yeah, here we go. utebed.com. Short update. gonna splice this all in, and we're gonna work on the Snorkel some more. And let's do it, guys. So I'm just hanging out here in the shop, cracking open some more beer as well. My buddy Jesse right there, the dude that looks like a hippie from the 70s, is getting his welder set up. He's got a nice little fancy Miller welder because my Lincoln isn't up to par apparently. He's getting ready to weld a little strip of metal on my windshield frame. This truck was from the Pacific Northwest where I live, and we have this really cool thing here called rainfall, and it makes things rust and fall apart. So he's going to weld up a new piece of metal here so that I can get this truck primed maybe tonight. It all depends on how much we have to drink, but right now he's just he's putting a new spool of wire on it and getting it fed through into the gun, and then hopefully we're going to get this thing welded, ground down maybe. Probably not that much grinding involved from me because this guy is a professional welder. No, legit.
I'm gonna make you grind.
He's going to make me grind. He's a professional welder in Seattle. So I'm going to go grab my beer, see if he needs a hand, and maybe I'll throw in some B-roll of him zapping. Okay guys, so I think we're just about ready to spray. My buddy just finished welding up that patch for me. I wiped down the truck again, most of it anyway, with acetone and some rags. The last thing to do is wipe it down with a tack cloth to try to get any last little bit of dust particles off that are in it. Truck's where it needs to be. Tires are masked off. Windshield, door, sunroof. The bed is masked off. Last thing to do other than the tack cloth is mix up some primer. Get to it.
Captain's log, start at 07-15-21. We got the tack clothing done all over. Not sure if we got every spot, but we might have got all the spots, or we might have got some of the spots. Either way, it's ready for primer.
Anyway, so I'm not going to get too deep into how you guys should mix paint and how you guys should apply paint, but basically how we're going to do this is we're going to do a 3-to-1 ratio. So how we're going to do that is this is just a generic paint cup. You can buy these at any auto parts store. So we got a scale right here. It says 3-to-1 to 1. So basically you can ignore the entire right side, and what we're going to do is we're going to mix. So these numbers, this is the quantity and then the ratio. So basically we're going to mix 3 parts paint, 1 part reducer. So basically we're going to go 5 and 5. So this, we're going to fill this up 5 parts Rust-Oleum paint, and then we're going to fill up to this line with mineral spirits. So that's 3-to-1. 3 parts paint, 1 part Rust-Oleum. So you guys can watch YouTube videos on how to do that. It's pretty basic. They tell you how to thin the paint on the back of the Rust-Oleum, and we're going to use the Rust-Oleum Stops Rust Rusty Metal Primer. And let's get to it. After that time lapse that you just saw a few minutes ago, she's primed. So now what I did was I just went over the whole truck. My arm's freaking tired. I just washed up and I look like a freaking Oompa Loompa. Just went over the whole truck with some 3M Scotch-Brite in a couple various grits to basically take the primer down to a really dull matte finish. You don't want any sort of gloss on the vehicle. Not that this primer leaves a gloss, but you just really want to take down that top finish of primer to a super dull, flat finish. Then You can't tell from my finger, but it leaves a pretty fine little dusting of fresh primer on there. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to run over the whole truck again with some more tack cloth to try to remove all that primer that we just took off. You don't really want to go over the whole truck again with acetone, in my opinion, because this primer was just done less than 24 hours ago, so it could take off even more primer, and you don't want to do that. You just want to scuff it up. Go over it again with the tack cloth, and then I'm going to try to shoot it with, I'm thinking the last coat of primer, but I'm going to do it a much lighter coat. I went over the whole truck pretty heavy. I had a lot of extra paint or primer mixed in my spray gun, more than I thought I was going to use. So I went over, like the roof I almost went over twice, and then I pretty much went over all the black spots. I hit them kind of heavy. And there's some spots you can see part of the black coming through right here. So just going to go over it again with a pretty light coat of primer. Let that dry. Then I'm going to run over the whole thing again with more Scotch-Brite, clean it up again, and then I think it's going to be ready for its first coat of tan. Let's see what happens. Hey guys, what's going on? So I just realized that I've already put 2 coats of the tan down. Never had the camera rolling during any of it. I was just so jacked up to get the initial color done that I didn't even think about putting my phone down. So it's tan. So it had 2 coats of primer, and then this is the second coat of tan. Got a little bit of work to do on actually both fenders. I thought I was doing a really good job, but I ended up getting a couple runs, so I'm going to scuff that up. By the way, every coat, so even with the primer, after the first coat of primer, after the second coat of primer, after the first coat of tan, and now after the second coat of tan, everything's going to be scuffed up and tack cloth prior to recoating again. So everything was done with just a light bit of Scotch-Brite. I had a pretty rough pad for some of the spots where there was runs, and then just a in-between surface coat Scotch-Brite for everywhere else, just to kind of scuff it up, like I mentioned about the primer. Just you want to kind of scuff it up a little bit. So there's a couple little tiny things that I need to work on. So on this passenger side A-pillar and this part of the cab, right here when I bought the truck, it looked like a tree, and maybe in some of the previous videos you guys have seen this. Hi, puppy. Got Nelly, the shop foreman, out here to make sure I'm doing a good job. If you guys recall, right here on this part of this corner of the cab, it kind of looks like a tree might have fallen on it, or maybe they pulled into a parking garage or something and nailed a garage corner or something, but there was a pretty big crease. So with some metal reinforced Bondo, I hate that word Bondo, by the way, but metal reinforced Bondo, I cleaned up and reshaped this corner piece right here, and it almost looks pretty similar to the driver's side, which is perfect. And then it's pretty close. I might have been able to build up a little bit more sand, but honestly, guys, you probably won't even be able to tell just by looking at it unless you're really staring. But this A-pillar was also kind of messed up. So what I got here is I got some 101 automotive body sealer. You can pick this stuff up at any auto parts store. Basically, it's caulking, like for your house, but for a vehicle. So it's meant for doing body seams. So right here, coming up this A-pillar, there's a bunch of buildup of Bondo that I couldn't sand out. That's right here in this, you got this factory rain gutter rail right here. So where this meets the cab with the A-pillar, I'm gonna just take some body filler, come up here, let this dry. I might even go around the entire roof. I don't know. There was some pretty deep rust in that channel, which I've sanded out as best I could, primed and painted. But what I'm probably going to do is lay this body filler up here, and then just like you would with a house, take your finger with a glove on and try to flatten it all out, make it smooth, make it look good. You could paint that after 30 minutes of it drying, cures overnight just like the paint. But what I'm going to do is just basically let it dry for, I don't know, half an hour, scuff up the truck again, and then I think, cross your fingers, man, I just realized I haven't even taken a drink yet. I think this is going to be the last coat of paint. It all depends on how many runs I get. So in that paint cup that you saw in the first, maybe the middle of the video, the paint cup that I was saying how you mix the Rust-Oleum with the mineral spirits, I've been filling it up to the, I filled it up to the 5 with the first coat of primer and the first coat of paint. Then I did up to the 4 with the second coat of paint. I think I'm only gonna fill it up to the 3, which is it's maybe 10 ounces of paint, and just do it really lightly. And I know on that fender where it's running, I was hitting it kind of hard because I went over the whole truck. Again, you guys haven't seen this on video, but I went over the whole truck, excuse me, and then I still had quite a bit of paint left over in the cup. And I was kind of just sitting there looking and, you know, is there anywhere where it looks really light? And there were some spots on that driver door, this fender, where it did look kind of light. So I was just trying to kind of get a little bit thicker of a coat on there, and I failed. I ended up getting it to run. So that's going to get sanded down a little bit with the heavier Scotch-Brite. Try to remove the runs as best I can. Again, this is, you know, this isn't a restoration. This is just making an old truck look a little better, right? That's what I've come to realize. You know, I have my gray 83 over there on the other side of the garage. You might be able to see it just on the other side of the hood. That's my pride and joy. I'm just trying to make this look a little better. Got a cool flatbed for it. I'm putting a Snorkel on it. Got some tires and wheels for it. Actually, I'm probably going to end up using these same tires, but I got some different wheels that I've painted over there. I'm just trying to make it look a little better. So, a little bit of scuffing. Body work here with some filler. Let it dry. Scuff up the whole body really, really light. Maybe the last coat of tan. We'll see. I'm pretty stoked. It's coming along pretty well, I think. I'm no body shop, body work expert by any means at all. I feel comfortable ripping any part of this truck apart mechanically and working on it, but body work, I've never done it ever, except for on this truck. So it's coming along. It's looking okay. So stick with us. We're getting towards the end. I think I finally decided I'm going to do like a once over with this video at the end, like the truck's painted, the bed's on, Snorkel's hooked up, like how it works, do like a quick ending to the video. And then I think I'm probably going to make a whole separate video that either might be first gen related, so this and the gray truck, or it just might be this truck related and then do a separate one for that truck. And just kind of do a huge walkover. Maybe even throw the camera up in the truck and go for a drive. We'll see. This truck still needs exhaust. It's just got the original manifold on it with a pretty rotted out muffler going to some rotted out tailpipe. So it sounds horrible when it's running. So after the windshield gets in and then the truck's ready to drive, it's going to go straight to a muffler shop and have the muffler put in. Also, Jesse that did the welding on the windshield frame, this truck is going to have a date with him where I'm going to drop it off at his house for a week or two, and he's going to nail down the rust on the floorboards on the inside. And then I'm going to probably just Herculine the whole floor, and maybe, if I'm feeling sassy, maybe I'll get a carpet kit for it. I don't know if I'm going to get a carpet kit or not. I'm thinking about just Herculining the whole floor and throwing some floor mats down and calling it good. You know, this is going to be the go into the woods and get firewood truck, and you know, it's going to get scratched, it's going to get beat up, it's going to get mud on the inside. I don't really care. Another thing, actually, that I've been thinking about while I'm talking about Herculiner, these fenders are not in the greatest shape, period. This truck, I don't know what you call it from the factory, but you have like a primer, and then you have like, I don't know if they put some sort of a filler over it. It's kind of weird to explain, but this fender has, and that fender over there has all kinds of little cracks in it. Not steel cracks, but it's like a coating crack. I don't know if you could picture like Bondo cracking, but the whole truck is covered with this stuff. I don't know what you call it, but I've actually been thinking about, since it's not turning out that well, and I didn't take this whole truck down to bare steel when I painted and primed it, I've been thinking about just going all the way up to the crease in the fender right here, and then maybe up to this door line all the way back with Raptor liner. Raptor lining the whole thing, the bottom part black. I know you can get some tintable Raptor liner, and you know you can make it tan if you want, and then just make the whole bottom thing Raptor liner, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to try to mask it off and Raptor line it black. Maybe. We'll see if I end up getting that or if I feel like doing it. I'm trying to work a deal right now on Craigslist with a 89 to 95 Toyota pickup ARB bumper. It's dirt cheap. I just can't get the guy to respond back to me. So I've been thinking about picking that up and then modifying it to fit on this. So that would probably get Raptor lined as well as the side. So anyway, vehicles, as you guys know, if you're watching this, you're probably into Toyota pickups and Hiluxes. You know that the project never ends. It doesn't stop just because it's finished painting and rolling down the road, right? It never ends. I had a Samurai prior to this that I've had for a number of years, and I thought it was done. Motor, lift, transfer case, tires, wheels, bumper, never ended. It kept going on. I always found stuff to do to it. So and that's what we enjoy, right? That's why we're into this kind of stuff. It's fun, you know. Not driving it and off-roading it is only part of the fun. It's building it and working on it is the other half, right? It's kind of like guns, right? If you know my channel, I like guns too. You know, shooting the guns is only half the fun. Getting them home, taking them apart, and cleaning them, that's the other half of the fun, right? It's a hobby. So anyway, this is a little over 9 minutes now. This is way more than I thought I was going to do for this little segment of video. So anyway, scuffing up, some body filler up here, scuffing up again, repainting, maybe the last coat. Anyways, let's see where that goes. You guys, here she is, first time out of the shop since she's been painted, the bed put on, tires and wheels, Snorkel. What do you say we toss back this beer and let's get into it? Freshly painted, not a mile on it since it came out of the shop, with the Rust-Oleum Gloss Almond paint job, 65 series Hilux Snorkel, the Australian Ute bed, made locally here in Seattle, Washington. The same all-terrains that were on it, but now they're on some steel wheels that I painted last year, some stock Toyota 15-inch steelies. Let's check this thing out, guys. Grill headlights, marker lights, bumper, everything's back on it with the classic I love what you do for me Toyota license plate. Here's the Snorkel, guys. Use some electrical conduit around the holes to kind of fill in the gap a little better. Still need to get a windshield. The bed sits... it's all bolted down to factory Toyota mounts down here. The Ute bed comes with this plate that bolts to the bumper, and then I bolted that to the factory mounts. So the factory bed has 6 mounts. This bed has 4, but it's rock solid and it's not going anywhere. All the sides of the bed fold down, tailgate folds down, and they all lift off super easily. So you can make this into a complete flatbed in about 30 seconds. Tail lights, marker lights, everything's all hooked up. Still need to put my spare down under there. The spare chain mount's just kind of sitting down there. It's turned out pretty awesome, guys. So the inside still needs a lot of work. Not even going to do that on this video. Still need to tend to the rust on the floorboards here on both the passenger and driver side. That's actually what I've been doing right before I rolled the vehicle out. I was just kind of trying to nail that. Looks like the back portion of the cab here is still pretty solid, but you know, this stuff is pretty rotten, so I gotta cut that out and then clean it all up. And then a buddy of mine, that same guy that did the windshield, he's gonna put in some plates for me, and then I'm just gonna Herculine the whole floor. Probably need to adjust the doors too, because the doors don't shut right, especially the driver's side one. Yep, got the liner of the door hanging out there. This is it, guys. Pretty impressed with how this turned out. If for some reason you guys have been thinking about painting a vehicle with an HVLP gun and you have no experience, my advice to you guys, go buy an HVLP gun and do it. I had absolutely zero experience with an HVLP gun before I bought this truck. Sanded it down, prepped, primed, painted it. So easy, and it turned out really well. The only thing that I kind of wish I would have done was clear coat it after I did the 3 coats of the gloss almond. I have a feeling that it's just going to get dirty real quick, and then I don't know, dirt might kind of stay on the paint. I don't know, we'll see. I could always take the Snorkel and all the, you know, accessories, the doorknob, the Lux emblems. I could always take all that stuff off and clear coat it if I wanted to, but whatever. It is what it is. So, interior will be on a separate video, but as of right now, guys, this truck is turning into something that I am super impressed and I'm proud of for all the work I've put into it. So here it is, guys. This is going to be the end of this updated video. More to come for the Rusty Luxy.